I'm Father Michael Orsi. I'm your host for Action for Life Television, that good news program which brings you the big G for the gospel of Jesus Christ and the little g, all the good things that people do to put that gospel of life into action. You know, ladies and gentlemen, we hear how many times people want to adopt children. Now, usually people that want to adopt children, maybe they can't have their own children, and so they said, maybe, Father, can you help us adopt a child? And I try to put them in contact with the right people, the right organizations to adopt a child. But oftentimes we forget one of the steps in this, and one of the steps in this is adoption can be, and usually is, very expensive. And some people don't have the money to afford legal fees, attorneys to put forth the adoption and legalize the adoption. Now, this can be a problem. It's a problem because, first of all, the adoptive parents, well, I can't adopt a child. I don't have the money. Sometimes you have children that are in need of adoption and they don't get to be adopted. Sometimes there are, ways in which the couple can get a child, but maybe they can't finalize the adoption. So they kind of do other things like foster care, sometimes guardianship, and those things are kind of temporary. And, although they're better than nothing, we can do better. We can do better. Now, today we're going to have a program which is going to talk about exactly that. Not the need of a child for a couple who wants to adopt a child, but what happens with the couple who wants the child but doesn't have the financial resources to legalize the adoption. Now, we have a real life story here for you today about just this situation. And our guest is Brittany Berrie, and she has a wonderful story to tell. And then, not only that, you see, as I tell you folks all the time, when you go through a crisis in your own life, a difficult time in your own life, God is showing you something, not just for you, but showing you something about other people too, how you can help them through a difficult situation. So, Brittany, I want to welcome you to this program today, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to tell us your story about, well, it started out with your brother, I believe, and his daughter, Gracie. Tell us what happened.
It was not my brother. It was a different family member. But I found out that she was going to be born the day before she was born. And I could not stop thinking about her. I knew that I was going to be a part of her life. I just didn't really know how, whether that was just a safe haven for her or, the hopes of adoption was there before she was even one. So I held her for the first time when she was 3 days old, and the bond was immediate. I get choked up because whenever I think of that moment, I always picture Jesus just placing her in my arms and saying, I trust you with her. She's going to be yours. Just wait.
Wow. Woo. Okay, let me ask you. So this family member knew that he or she could not take care of the child.
They didn't really know that until later on in their journey. Still at that point, they were still wanting to be her parents.
Okay. So then you go to the hospital or to their house and you pick up the baby. And you said, this baby is like mine?
I just felt the bond immediately, even before I had even picked her up, even before I had even saw her. I knew God had just put it on me that I was going to be a part of her life. I just didn't know how. I didn't know that I was going to end up being her mom. But I did know that and trusted that he was telling me something. And so I just obeyed, and I got the call that she was leaving the hospital and that I could go and see her. And in that moment, she looked at me and I looked at her, and I was like, yep, I'm going to be mommy someday.
Wow, holy smokes. Okay, but at this point, you still didn't know that there was a problem with the birth parents taking care of Gracie.
Right. I knew it wasn't the best environment. And so I wanted to be there for her as she grew up, either if it was just a safe space to talk or a safe space to be. And it ended up being 4 weeks after that, I started caring for her full time. So
they called you up, or you just went over there and you said, hey, this baby needs to be cared for differently, better. How did that happen?
I just talked to her mom and dad and said, if there's anything I can ever do for you guys, you just please let me know, whether it's clothes, diapers, formula. I want to help you. I knew that they were not in the best environment. And so reaching out to them was the first step. Was I want to help, if you need help.
Okay.
So originally it wasn't, I want to take care of your baby. It was, let me help you raise her. Like, let me help you with things that are hard.
Okay. And then as things progressed, what happened? How did the baby come into your possession?
When she was 4 weeks old, they had asked me to watch her. And then after that, it was she was with me for a few days, and then they would come get her. And then she was with me for a few weeks, and then they would come get her for a couple of days and then bring her back for a couple of months. And it kind of just grew into her permanent home really being with me. Okay. They still had the right to come and get her whenever they wanted to. And they did sometimes, but by the time she was 7 months old, she was with me majority of the time.
Okay. So it's just kind of like it kind of happened. And you're really, acting as a surrogate mother at this point. And you're getting more and more attached to Gracie. And Gracie, I'm sure, is getting attached to you, but nothing is legal at this point, correct?
Nope, nothing is legal.
Okay, nothing is legal. Now, after a while, Gracie just ends up staying with you.
Yeah.
Okay, so they just said, you can have her, you can keep her, you can what happened?
The father was in and out of prison, so that was not a stable environment, and he knew that. And then the mother, she would come and see Gracie every now and then, take her for a day or a couple hours and bring her back. Honestly, it's very hard to comprehend that we lived a life like that, because it was only God who protected her and had his hand in every move.
Okay. So does there come a point when you have to legalize this some way, because you have the baby and therefore you have responsibility for that child?
Right. So when she was 4, some things had happened, and the mother was willing to sign over her rights. So that
4 years passed and you had no legal rights to the child.
Right. But I still was doing all the doctor visits. I potty trained her, all the things that a parent has to do between newborn and 4. We did that. I did that. I signed her up for preschool. Kindergarten was coming up, so we had that conversation of where she was going to go. The parents really weren't involved in that piece.
All right. So now you have her 4 years, and like some legal stuff is going to come up, like going to school and, doctor's visits and vaccinations and all that stuff is coming up.
Right.
And Well, what kind of legal documentation did you have at that point? 4 years. You had nothing, and then what happened?
I had nothing. We had just talked about it, me and her mother. And I just said, I want to get her involved in school. I want to get her involved in gymnastics. I want her to do certain things. What do you think about full custody or guardianship? And she was for it. She knew she had a very good, although she's still her biological mother, at that point, she knew that the environment that Gracie would grow up in was not, she loved her more than that. And we had that conversation, and I respect and love her for making that hard decision.
Yeah, sure. Okay. So now 4 years old, you get guardianship of Gracie. Okay. But, guardianship can be taken back. Mm-hmm. Right? Yeah. See, Father O knows this stuff about the rules for guardianship and adoption and foster care. All right. Mm-hmm. Now, you then have her for another 6 years. And as I read the story, you go to some kind of a family event, and a lady named Aunt Cassie shows up. All right, let's tell us what happened when Aunt Cassie comes on the scene.
So we were at my brother's wedding in 2020, and Casey came from.
Oh, Casey, not Cassie. Cassie.
Yeah, Casey. I know Casey. It's spelled Cassie. But.
We see, folks. You see, I'm not. That ignorant. It was spelled Cassie.
Cassie.
I could chalk it up to my bad eyesight. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. Casey, she was at the wedding. She had a conversation about Gracie with my mom first and wanted to know, how did the adoption go? She didn't know that Gracie was not fully adopted yet. And my mom was telling her, it's just a lot of money. And so then my mom came to me and said, hey, you need to talk to Casey. She wants to know a little bit more information about Gracie and the legal battles with that and the expenses. And so I talked to her, and she said, if it's just money that's holding you back, let me do this for you. Just go home, hire an attorney, let me know how much it is, and I will pay it for you.
Yay, Aunt Casey. We love you, Aunt Casey. Okay. Yes. I hope a lot of people have an Aunt Casey out there. Okay. She says, I'll pay for it.
Yep. She just said, whatever it is, I don't care what it is. She didn't know what the average cost of adoptions were. She just didn't care. Whatever it is.
Let me guess. I don't know. What state are you in? Illinois? Where are you?
Iowa.
I knew it started with an I. Okay. Iowa. 50,000?
So the average cost of an adoption, if you look it up on Google, is $70,000.
Whoa, I guess inflation. You see, folks, I figured 50, inflation 70. Okay, that's a lot of money.
Yes, it does range though. So I tell people that's Google's answer. My answer is it can run anywhere from $100 to $120,000. That's the range that I've heard adoptions. I mean, since starting the Adopted Closet, I've talked to a lot of people who have adopted or are in process of adopting, and they've had to take out second mortgages, or it was just as simple as $100. I mean, the range is very, very wide.
Okay, now, folks, you heard Brittany say something about Adopted Closet. And that's really, where we want to lead you in today's program, because Brittany started, I guess it's a little company, a little business called Adopted Closet. And tell us, what is Adopted Closet? How did this happen? And what does it do?
So the Adopted Closet is a nonprofit that helps adoptive families pay legal fees. Because we were given that blessing, I didn't know how to thank my cousin Cassie. And so to thank her, I wanted to push on her blessing to other people.
Okay, so you got an idea to do what? I mean, what did you do to show your appreciation to cousin Cassie, who we love? We love. Cassie.
Yes, she's
big
amazing.
Time. You should put her on the show sometime. I'd like to see this lady.
Absolutely, she would love to. So we were doing a garage sale last April, and it was doing pretty good. So I turned to my mom. It was me and my mom and Gracie did the garage sale.
All right, so Gracie's now involved in this.
Yes,
right,
absolutely. So I turned to my mom and I said, how about we just do an end of the summer sale with really nice clothing and, like a back to school thing, and we'll just give all those profits toward another adoption. Well, immediately she was like, yes, let's do it. So I went out, started garage selling really nice clothing from babies all the way up to 5X men's, women's, coats, mittens, everything clothing.
But wait, where'd you get? You didn't have all this stuff in your house, did you?
No, well, it's all in my garage.
Wait. So now, but this isn't like your stuff. I mean, this is like you collected from other people's stuff.
Yep. So some of it's ours. It's a really good way for us to purge our things as well.
All right.
But we did go and we reached out to our community, and our community rallied around us. And the rest of the summer, I prepared our garage to, now it looks like a store.
Uh-huh.
And, throughout the summer and even up till today, we would go outside and there would be bags and boxes of clothing donated.
Wait. I want to understand something. You put out like a memo, an SOS to all the neighbors and said, hey, neighbors, we are involved with this project, Adopted Closet, and our goal is to raise money to help people to adopt babies. Is that what you did?
Pretty much, yes. So we would go to garage sales, and I had this little piece of paper with my address on it and my name, and it wasn't even the Adopted Closet at that point. So I just had my name and my address.
It was Brittany's Garage. Okay. Yeah. What's your husband's name? Is he part of this whole? Brandon. Okay. Yeah. And so Brandon's like a part of this whole deal too.
Well, he didn't really know how big it was going to be, and that I was going to take the entire garage.
And then he couldn't get his car in anymore, and poor Brandon's parked out on the street. All right.
He is, but he doesn't mind.
All right, well, as long as he goes along with the program, I suppose.
He does. He's very supportive.
Hey, Brandon, between you and cousin Cassie, I mean, you're doing a great job. Okay, so.
Yes. They're very supportive.
Is Brandon around today? Well, while you're doing this television commercial here?
No, he's at work.
Too bad. We put him on too. I want to ask him about how he feels about his car out on the street. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Now all the neighbors they start like dumping clothes bags in your driveway.
Right.
By this point, Brandon is ready to ask for a divorce. No, I'm just kidding, folks. What's all this stuff doing in my driveway? All right.
Well, he didn't know at that point that it was going to be like a long-term thing, but neither did I. So we had our first sale in September. Mm-hmm. We made $3,000 the first day.
That's fantastic. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. So that day we decided this needs to be a store. We can make more money. We can help more families. And that's the goal. That's been the goal ever since. So in November.
Yeah. Okay. Wait, I ask a question now. So this little nonprofit business of yours is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And, your garage is full of stuff. We already went through, Brandon's anxieties. But what about the neighbors or the police? Are they saying, hey, you can't have a business in your garage? Do they say that?
Actually, so I called the city to make sure that it was okay, or to see if we needed to get a building. And the man on the other line, or on the other end of the phone, I kind of told him what we were doing, and he kind of went silent. And I was like, hello, are you there? And he's like, this is really weird. And I was like, what's weird? He said, your garage is zoned commercial. And I said, no way. It's commercial? He's like, yeah, your garage is commercial. You can do whatever you want. You can have a store in there. We can't stop you. So that was a huge blessing.
As you can imagine, producing this wonderful program, Action for Life, it costs a great deal of money. We're going to need your help. So if you would like to donate to keep this good news program on the air, please go to your computer, your cell phone, actionforlife.net. And now for our thought for the day. Prayer is extremely important. We're not fighting a battle just against earthly powers. We're fighting a battle against evil. Please take some time each day to pray and ask God for the strength that you need and that we need to keep up the battle for life. Now you have a commercial garage, and is that where your business is right now? Is it still there?
Yep.
Okay.
It is still in our garage. We actually have plans this weekend we've been just throwing all the donations in the garage throughout the winter that I haven't gotten time to go through yet. So this weekend we're having volunteers come over and we're pulling everything out of the garage, resetting up the store and getting it ready to open here in a couple weeks.
Okay. Now, you've been open now since how long have you been in operation in the commercial garage?
Since September.
Okay, and how much money have you brought in thus far?
The store in the garage alone has brought in about $10,000.
Wow! And you said the store in the garage alone. Is there some other places that you are using to make money?
Yes. So we sell online as well. We have started that in January, and that's doing really good. And you can donate online as well. So it's even easier.
So like you have like a little Amazon.com over there, you know, they go online and then you ship out, you do the shipping too. I mean, how many people you have working with you? I mean, this is like a big deal now.
Just me.
Wow. Just you?
Just me. Gracie helps me and my mom helps me, but it's just me right now.
What does poor Brandon do? He just, does he bring the stuff to the post office? What does he do?
Yes. So he helps me reorganize things. When there's donations outside and he gets home from work, he brings them in so I can go through everything. And then he'll take like the clothing that we can't sell. So like stains or rips, he'll take it on to somewhere else to donate.
Well, you see, ladies and gentlemen, do you see how creative this project is? I mean, you have Brittany and Brandon and Gracie, and somehow God got into this thing, God works in strange ways. I mean, really strange ways. I have to tell you that. And then just this idea blossoms. Go into this garage, and it happens that it's a commercial garage. I mean, I never heard of such a thing outside of commercial property, but this is a new one, even on Old Father O. All right. Anyway, God works through that. And then, they're ending up, making good money out of used clothing and even using the internet for sales. And her mother helps out and Gracie helps out to help people to legally adopt children. This is a wonderful project, and it just shows you what each and every one of us can do in our own little way. You know the old story of the mustard seed, the smallest seed of them all. But once it begins to grow, it grows and grows and grows and becomes the biggest shrub there is. And all the birds of the air come and nest in those branches. And that's what God wants. All the birds of the air, all those people in need, all those babies that need homes, all those parents that want to adopt children, they can come to this wonderful, wonderful organization that Brittany has established. And something that I think all of us should think about. Hey, Brittany's for action, I'm for action, and I know you are too. We would like to thank our generous sponsors for their wonderful support. Thanks for watching. Please join us next time for Action for Life. I'm for action, and I hope you are too. I'm Father Michael Orsi. I am your host for Action for Life Television, that good news program which talks about the gospel of Jesus Christ, the big G, and the little g, all the good things that people are doing to put the gospel of life into action. So please join us for the next episode of Action for Life. Hey gang, I know a lot of you sometimes can't watch all of our episodes of Action for Life. However, we have a solution for that. All you have to do is go to YouTube and search for Action for Life Florida. And you can catch up on all the shows, and guess what? Extra added bonus, you get to hear my weekly homily. So YouTube and you make a fine couple. I'm Father Michael Orsi. I am your host for Action for Life Television, that good news program which talks about the gospel of Jesus Christ, the big G, and the little g, all the good things that people are doing to put the gospel of life into action. So please join us for the next episode of Action for Life.